24 years old.
24 years old, you need to be focused. You need to start getting focused on what's going to
Right.
go on with your life because, you know, before you know it, you're 34 years old.
He's a mama's boy, and you're not his mama.
Doesn't even live here. I wish they did.
Okay? You're not his mother.
Right.
You are probably going to do him and his future wife and his kids a favor by saying, you know what? This is just not good enough for me. I know you love me, but I need a man with a future, and you're just not it.
I know that sounds tough and heartless, but I tell you what, Azita rejected me a lot of times. And every time I would come back, the bar would be higher than before. You know, what might have been good enough and got me in the door a little bit before, got me a date with her, was not going to get me the next date. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
if women don't
and I became a better man for it. And I tell you, now it's a way of life.
Such a great team.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it has to do with
Well,
the
she
women.
wanted a partner, and she was like going for it, and I was, you know, recovering from a previous marriage, and I just didn't feel like that motivated about life anymore.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I got real motivated.
Yeah. And it's about, are you willing to be a woman who loves herself and respects herself and knows her own self-worth and won't compromise that? Because if you sell out the next 10 generations. You sell them out. Don't do that. That's why I hold women to such high account. We cannot sell out, because then men will not have to try to be men, to be honorable, to do anything with themselves.
What has people grow apart in general is usually something that's withheld.
Yeah.
And anything that's withheld, and I mean anything,
affects the fabric
even
of the
the
relationship.
most unimportant, seemingly unimportant thing, if it's so unimportant, then why withhold it?
Yeah.
Is the question. Will cause an inauthentic relationship, so that when you look into each other's eyes, you will both know that you are both hiding something.
Now, does your therapist lay into you and confront you?
About lots of things, yes.
Okay, good. So here's what, is your therapist confronting you about the fact that you have trust issues?
No, not directly, no.
Yeah, here's the thing. You know why it didn't work out with you and your wife?
Some part of it I know, but not everything.
I'm going to tell you without knowing. You don't trust anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you leave the lesson before it's learned, you're destined to repeat it.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Over and over. And so we're pushing with you right now, because we'd like to have you get whatever the lesson is that this woman spent 10 years. She was the carrier of this message and this lesson the whole time. And had you been able to learn that lesson, you'd still be together, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But having not learned it, it's imperative that you learn it now, or else you will bring it into your next relationship, and it'll look just, you know, you'll see repetitive patterns in it.
Yeah. And it's not so much that you're not getting over the divorce. It's just that you're having to deal with yourself right now, and it's not comfortable. And it's a lot easier to just go jump into another relationship and lose yourself and be happy in someone else, because a new relationship makes us feel that way. But very soon, you'll do the same thing to those relationships that you did to the previous one.
Yeah.
So don't give up.
But that hurts so much after
Yes.
you end one, and then you say, after I'm done with this, I hopefully don't want to get through that, because that takes time, and I know I'm going to be happy again, but why would I bother and go
But
to
I want you to hear something in your speaking. I want you to catch it, because right here you can catch it. You just said, I'm going to give you back what you just said. Why would I want to do that again, right?
You don't.
That is taking the past, which has absolutely nothing to do with the present. It's like not even anything to do with the present. And putting it out in the future,
And then trying to avoid
and then
it.
saying, well, because I stepped in dog doo-doo yesterday, I'm going to step in it again tomorrow.
I can't believe you just said that.
Doo-doo's okay.
Okay.
You can say dog doo-doo.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
You know, it's graphic, right?
Yes.
You don't ever have to step in it again, right? Yeah. Hopefully, by doing something in the past, if you're smart, you won't do that again.
Yes, it's about getting your past complete.
And you leave it where it belongs, in the past. It has nothing to do with the present or the future.
Right. One of the things that Gregory and I do in our workshop is we take people through several exercises that has them complete their past, whatever relationships they have that's not complete. And people think that just because they get divorced or they end the relationship or they break up or they don't see anyone anymore, it means it's complete. No, the relationship is finished, but you are still not complete with it. You've been divorced for a year. It's still not complete.
I had recommended to a man that he call his ex-wife and that if anybody asked, that all he needed to say was that it was all my fault.
It was all my responsibility.
It was all my responsibility, not my fault. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. It's your responsibility. I'm 100% responsible for the relationship not working out. She is 0. I'm 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about it any more than that. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And then be over with that part
And be done with it. And
Yeah.
I would call, and I recommend that he even call her and tell her, you know what, this is 100% my responsibility. You know, I forgive you completely for anything
I was
that you may have ever
unavailable.
done.
I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know how to communicate. There was no access for me to this. I didn't listen to the things that you asked. I didn't know how to provide that. I stopped doing the things that I did in the beginning of our relationship.
What you call grew apart,
Yeah.
and you have 0
I'm sorry if I
responsibility
hurt
in that.
you.
I did it all myself.
You know, thank you for trying with me. I appreciate the 10 years you gave me. You were a great wife. I'm sorry it didn't work out between us. I think you're an amazing person.
Okay.
You know,
He's
so
got the
it's
point.
about that.
But those kinds of things. Now, is that the truth? The person asked me, well, what if that's not true? Who cares?
Yes.
What difference does it make what's true and what's not true? I'm telling you what works.
Yes.
Okay? It's a place you stand. It's a stand that you take.
It's a place of generosity and responsibility.
You know? It's a stand that you take that is a privilege to stand in that place and say,
Right.
I'm responsible for my life and everything that happens in it.
Yes.
I did that.
Yeah.
Okay?
That relationship happened in my stand.
To shoulder the responsibility and to claim it as my own.
Yeah.
You know? And from that place of power, you see the world a totally different world.
Yeah.
The world looks bright. It looks like an opportunity. It looks like a possibility. From a place of responsibility, like a stand that you're taking.
And generosity, you become
and generosity, wow, just about anything's possible.
Yeah.